Hey, what's going on? And thank you to anybody taking the time to watch this today. I'm a passenger on a ride, and today I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss how I tend to overcome anxiety. First off, before we get into that, I just wanted to thank anybody who's taken the time to watch these videos over the past week. Today is my 7th video. I've been posting one every single day, and overnight I hit 100 views on the channel in total. And although that may be small, it really means a lot to me that the content that I've made here that, I'm hoping it can help other people eventually has reached 100 views. So thank you all for that. Anxiety has been something that I've always dealt with. I don't have it the worst in the world by any means, and I have a pretty good job of managing it naturally, and just kind of dealing with it in general, which I'm very thankful for. But I know a lot of other people that have struggled with anxiety very bad in their lives and just kind of struggle with different ways to overcome it. And as somebody who's always had a relatively easy time, I figured that I could be a good example to try to teach some other people my ways of overcoming it. And the main one that I've come about recently and that I want to talk about today is kind of this concept that I came to of pretending as if you're not a person with anxiety. And I know that sounds like a lot, and just trying to convince yourself of that, but in a lot of different scenarios, if you can kind of just try to take the emotions that you're having and the fear that you're having from the anxiety out of a scenario and able to just think logically and put yourself in a perspective where you think about what a person without anxiety would do in that scenario. What a person that, maybe somebody that's kind of just a fearless individual that doesn't seem to have a lot of anxiety, like what they would do in that scenario. And generally, I found when I do that, I come to the first thing that I thought of in my head on how to deal with that scenario before I started to overthink that. And from a logical perspective, not overtaken by emotions, it's generally the best way to go about dealing with that scenario. One thing that I've always struggled with is kind of phone communication. I'm very good at communicating with people in person, but phone communication's always been a little bit harder for me, especially on the texting side of things. And I've always kind of had this tendency towards when I have to send a text to somebody that's asking a question or dependent on an answer, or might, be a situation that could upset somebody or make them upset with me. I've always dealt with a lot of anxiety, and the way that I found this kind of technique that I'm using now is one day I kind of just had an epiphany around a scenario that I was in like that, where I was just all anxious about sending this text and just kind of overthinking it and constantly typing something, backspacing, and then retyping. And it kind of dawned on me, what would a person that doesn't have anxiety do in this scenario? And very quickly, I immediately thought of the first thing that I thought to send to that person, and I just removed everything I had, sent that very basic text without thinking about it anymore, or letting myself think about it anymore, and I got the best answer that I've ever gotten in a scenario like that. It's just very simple, easy flowing communication, which for some reason I was overcomplicating in my head. Really, the crux of what I'm trying to get at today is just next time that you have a situation that you're feeling anxiety about, try to approach it from a emotions removed standpoint, from a logical standpoint, where you can really evaluate what you should do in that scenario. And what, like I said, if there's somebody in your life that you find to be like a standing example of, just overcoming anxiety or not having any anxiety, think about what they would do in that scenario and just see how your experiences work out, because I guarantee that you'll be at a little bit more peace. And it's not super easy to kind of switch over to that, because you're still going to have the anxiety about sending the things at first, but after you've made that decision, you just have to not think or elaborate on it any further in your mind and just do things the way that you saw in that moment. But that's really all I have to speak about today. A little bit of a shorter one, not a whole lot to elaborate on that topic. It's relatively simple what I was trying to get across, but I really hope that this can positively affect somebody and give you kind of an idea on how to deal with the next highly anxious situation that you have a little bit better, and it might bring you a little bit of peace during all of that. But thank you guys for taking the time to watch this today. This is the 7th video. Like I said before, I'm going to be doing these every single day going forward. This marks a week, and I really appreciate you guys all taking the time to watch. Have a great rest of your day.